Face-Off this Saturday. And this is an amazing thing because we're able to now show you the beautiful, amazing other countries in the world.
And also the beautiful Vietnam as well, as our topic is motherland. Right?
Exactly. Where do you think is your motherland?
Well, of course, Vietnam. That's the reason why I have decided to come back to Vietnam to discover my roots. And upon the journey of working for VTV and traveling across Vietnam, I've learned many English words that describe my motherland that I didn't know before when I was living overseas. That's also the purpose of IELTS Face-Off too, showing another side of Vietnam, another perspective of the motherland as well. So, do we have an expert to help us this time?
Of course, guys. It wouldn't be IELTS Face-Off without the IELTS expert, where we're going to tell you how you can master the IELTS skills, as well as how you can talk about your motherland in the IELTS exam. So shall we?
Yep, let's bring in the experts. Welcome back to IELTS Face-Off. It's my favourite time of the week where I get to chill with my fellow Aussie women right
Excellent,
here.
yes,
Lily
good to be here, thank you.
The topic for this week is writing, right?
Yes, before they get to ask us, we're going to ask them.
Okay, so bring on the question. Must contain the writer's final answer to the question in the respective task. True or false?
Does anybody want to attempt this question?
Well, I think it is false because there are no official regulation that requires you to put your position in the introduction. However, personally, I think you should do it because in some occasions you may be asked 3 or maybe more questions in one essay.
All right, Lily, what do you think?
So when we're looking at writing task 2 in the IELTS exam, it's really important that our introduction includes this really key sentence or pair of sentences, if it's a more complex question, that does state in summary terms our position on the question we're being asked to write about. So yes, you need to state your position, include a thesis statement in the introduction, and when you wrap up your essay with a conclusion, you need to paraphrase that content and it needs to appear in your conclusion as well.
Now it's time for questions from the audience. What do you guys got for us?
My question is, how many paragraphs should we have in the writing task 2?
Okay, so when it comes to the number of paragraphs, again, people have unique writing styles, but it would be unusual to have less than 4 paragraphs in your IELTS Part 2 essay. The first paragraph is going to be an introduction, so a bit of background information and that important thesis statement stating your position on the question. And make sure that you're not cannibalizing the question, you've got to paraphrase there. And then you'd need at least sort of generally 2 body paragraphs. So in a problems and solutions essay, one way you could structure that is body paragraph 1, my problems, body paragraph 2, my solutions. Or an agree, disagree essay, body paragraph 1, all the reasons why I agree, body paragraph 2, all the reasons to disagree with it. And then you've got to bring your essay home with a conclusion.
That's like playing Tetris. You've got to, put all the pieces together.
Yeah, so it takes practice and you need to be familiar with all the different question types.
Okay, thank you for that question, Lily. So how much complex vocabulary should you use in writing task 2?
To get the really high scores in IELTS writing task 2, again, you need to be able to use language flexibly. So that means it needs to be an appropriate use of complex language for the context that you're writing in. It means that you really need to prepare for the IELTS exam. You need to be reading regularly on a lot of different topics, so read high quality English language newspapers. And when it comes to the exam itself, you need to make sure you understand the question, but don't just try and show off. It's got to be natural, flexible use to get those higher scores. If you're just bombing your essay with all this language because you think it's what the examiner wants to hear, that could backfire on you.
Speaking of backfiring, a lot of IELTS exam takers are actually uni students, done a lot of essays. How does IELTS writing differ from essay writing?
things that we're looking at with IELTS writing, for a start, we're not going to know the topics, so there can be a lot more diversity. When I'm at uni, I know the topic's at least going to relate to my major,
Right.
whereas in the IELTS exam, it's sort of all general knowledge in the world. So I think it's quite intimidating preparing, and that's why I'm such a mad advocate of reading, because reading is just a way to see great grammar and vocab in action.
Right.
You're just stealing 2 or 3 nice chunks of language. That's going to be a great way to build your vocab on a range of topics.
Thanks a lot, Lily, for all of your tips.
My pleasure. Yeah.
And guys, coming up next is the Voice of the Week section. Check it out right now. Hey guys, we're now entering another section of IELTS Face-Off, and that is the Voice of the Week live in studio. And let's see who this week's Voice of the Week contestant is, shall we?
Boom.
Hello, my name is Casey, and it's Ling in Vietnamese, so you can call me both. Decisions of choosing to learn English that never makes me have a second thought about. It was in July 2014. I took 1-year transition course specializing in business. And it didn't take me long to realize that the course I was in would not assure my future. Every person in my class, my classmates, the professors, everyone was speaking English, except the fact that I could hardly say a word without hesitation. I just couldn't listen, I couldn't talk, and I thought that maybe I should pass and learn English instead. I really wanted to be good at English. So I took 3-month English course at a language school. That course really helped me to change my pronouncing things. But since then, I also knew that the one thing that matters if I seriously want to communicate well in English was my ability to listen. After 3 months of serious practice, I did it. Now I want to say thank you for IELTS Face-Off family for giving me the chance to share, and thank you so much for listening.
I heard some baby noise sound in the background. Did you notice that?
Wow, you have really sharp ears.
Let's meet the actual person to find out what she's made of and why she's such a cool mom.
Okay, so Ling, where are you?
Are you ready?
Kinda.
Up to you.
Hello there. Welcome. As a fellow parent as well, I was really blown away by that performance. How do you juggle being a mum and being so good at English at the same time?
Well, thanks to my 2 sons. I just want them to grow up bilingual, so that made me think think of learning English.
That's truly inspirational.
Yeah, excellent.
All right, so it's now an opportunity for you to be challenged with more questions, not from your kids, but from Lily.
That's right. Okay, let's go. Yeah, this way, please. Yeah, if you'd just like to take a seat over here. Woo, for me, Ling. Thank you. Hi, Lynn. My name's Lily. Let's get started with this IELTS practice test. Let's start by talking about music. Do you like listening to music?
Yes, I do, but I don't spend much time on music, I'm kind of a particular listener, and I really into the songs with low beats and good lyrics.
In the next part of the practice test, I'm going to ask you to talk about a topic for 1 to 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And before you talk about it, Ling, you'll have 1 minute to think about what you're going to say, and you can make some notes if you wish.
Yes, thank you.
Do you understand?
Sure, I
Good. And here's your topic. I'd like you to describe a time that you gave a speech in public. All right. So remember, you've got 1 to 2 minutes for this, so don't worry if I stop you. I'll tell you when the time is up.
Yes.
And can I ask that you start your speech now? Thanks.
It's my very first presentation that I prefer to tell you more in detail now. back in 2010, I was tasked by my college teacher to give an English presentation on Barbie dolls for the final exam. Now, I got like 5 minutes talking about history, the popularity of Barbie dolls, all that things. Actually, I was working really hard on the preparation, but the toughest part was being on the stage, giving the speech. But the thing was that I could have had the butterflies down here in my stomach all the way walking up to the spot when it was my turn to talk. But fortunately, it took me for like just the first 30 seconds to get a grip. And then I knew that although I kept a good eye contact with the audiences, who were all my peers then, I couldn't tell for sure if they followed my talk, but the room ambience was so quiet that you could hear a pin drop. And yes, that is definitely the most memorable experience that gave me a sense of victory when I could finally overcome my fear of speaking in front of people.
Okay, thank you. Could I have your paper and pencil? Thank you. Thanks, Ling. So in the last part of this practice test, I'm going to ask you some more general questions related to the topic that you've just shared on. Let's talk about feeling nervous when giving a speech. What are some of the reasons why people feel that way?
As I mentioned, there must be several factors that could be attributed to this fact. The first main reason is that maybe the speaker, they are in either a high or little stress, the self-expectation. Every single speaker that give their speech to the public for some kind of certain purpose. And whatever that purpose is, they might want to get the most result out of that. For example, let's take me and my presentation, for example. If I hadn't expected that much on my ngôi exam, then I would been through a very tense state of mind. I just wanted to give it my best shot and highest score for my final exam, And the next thing should be, as human beings, I do believe that, we care about the other's expectation on us. It should be much easier for one to speak to just a small group of audiences, but when there are more and more people watching, it's totally a different story. So yeah, that are two reasons that I think could be attributed to the fact that people mostly become very nervous when they have to give a speech to public.
Thanks very much, Ling. That's the end of this speaking test.
Yeah. Thank you, too.
Mamma mia, she really stole the show for us, didn't she?
Yeah.
What do you think about her performance?
Well, before I say what I think, let's see what the audience thinks. Okay, guys, you guys are going to vote for the score you think Chen Ti-ling will get. So the results are in, guys.
Woo.
48% voted for 6.5 to 7 band, 45% voted for 7 to 7.5 band.
I thought the audiences were being a little bit hard on her. I'll give her a way higher score, actually.
Right, so let's see what our expert Lily has to say. Lily.
All right, so you all know I can't give a band score, but what I can do is give you some feedback on your performance today. So you were able to speak independently, develop ideas, extend on them, build on them, without sort of much input or prompting from me at all, including in part 3, which is a really challenging part of the test, so well done. When we look at what we call the grammatical range and accuracy, again, impressive level of accuracy there. And again, it's important for people taking the IELTS that we acknowledge that it's grammatical range, not just accuracy. So a really nice range of complex sentence structures that you use comfortably as well. A lot of really flexible, naturally used language, including less common items and a whole lot of idioms in there. But overall, your use of vocabulary, again, I was really impressed.
That's great. Thank you, Lily, for all of those comments.
You're welcome.
Well, we have a very, very special gift for our guest today. So, Ling, we have a gift for you.
Bring out the present.
Fantastic. Ooh, wow.
Let me introduce to you.
Is this your new merch?
Thank you.
From the IELTS FACE-OFF.
Well, you know, you still have an opportunity to be with the show, because at the end of this year, at the end of the season, we're going to pick one IELTS Face-Off Voice of the Week winner, and that person will have the opportunity to go to Australia to experience Australian education.
Okay guys, so if you were just as mesmerised by her performance as we were, don't forget to show her some more love, some support, get voting right now. I'd love to have you in Australia too.
Guys, she might have an opportunity to go to Australia, but you still have an opportunity to interact with us. So everybody, don't go away. We're going to introduce you to the very, very first new section of IELTS FACE-OFF. Coming right up next.
Okay, as we're talking about reaching further in the season, we get the opportunity to reach further out to other continents, to other countries, and Wales is among those. So, what are we going to show about Wales?
We're going to follow our lovely friend Thảo Tâm to Wales, and let's see what school she has to show us. Probably, I think it starts with a B and rhymes with the Bengal tiger.
Welcome to Bangor University and welcome back to Study UK 101. So today we're at this beautiful place situated on the top of a hill overlooking this beautiful sea. Founded in 1884, Bangor University is really the facility to take a deep dive into. Now, what about this place that makes it such a good place to go and study here in Wales? Stay tuned for more.
Bangor University have a diversity of cultural from around the world, and you can have many other friends. I have met some friends from Bahrain, Romania, Indian, Bangladesh, China, and even from Wales. And I learned a lot of things from their culture. And Bangor University also offer an international student center who organize a lot of activities and also help for international students to integrate with the culture here.
The area that Bangor is in, an absolutely beautiful area. It's absolutely fantastic if you want to do outdoor sporty things. I think unlike some of the other cities in the UK, I can't think of anywhere else where I could sort of go into the mountains with friends and then have a campfire on a beach or something like that.
After our very brief tour of Bangor University and the very nice things we've heard about this place, I am very aware that as international students, you guys have a lot of questions regarding how to come to Bangor University. So I have with me Karen Mai Jones, which is the international officer here at Bangor University. And would you like to help me answer a few questions?
I'd be very happy to help you. Welcome to Bangor, by the way.
Oh, thank you. At the top of your head, what is the thing that you're most proud about?
I think Bangor's a beautiful location to study, and I think that really helps you to study peaceful, calm, and gorgeous.
Yeah, it's especially beautiful with like the scenes and like the positioning. As an international applicant, what's the application process like?
You can apply on our website. It's very straightforward. It's a step-by-step procedure on the website.
Right, so all of this information is provided on your website?
Absolutely. And information for undergraduate application. We even have some foundation courses in Bangor itself, as well as information on how to apply as an undergraduate.
Okay, so third
Very important question, actually. So, is there any special kind of support for international students?
We have scholarships.
Oh.
Our scholarships for Vietnamese students go up to £5,000 a year. But we also have international support. We have an office that is dedicated to student welfare. So if they've got any problems or concerns, they can come to the International Student Support Office and we'll help them. But that office also offers a lot of fun activities, lots of social activities, lots of events, lots of activities. A great way to make new friends, get out there and maybe experience some new things.
That is about the application process. Up next is about the strengths and the majors of Bangor University. Stay tuned. Okay, let's go.
My name is Jonathan Williams and I'm a Professor of Banking and Finance. I'm also Head of Bangor Business School. It's a great pleasure to be able to speak to all our friends in Vietnam. Bangor Business School has a long-standing tradition. Economics and banking as subjects have been taught in this university for around 100 years. Bangor Business School has been a pioneer of innovative programs in banking and financial economics. We have developed programs at undergraduate level, at master's level, and we also have distance learning programs.
Hello, my name is Mark Hyland. I'm a lecturer in Bangor Law School here in Bangor University in North Wales. Compellingly, Bangor Law School very recently entered the top 20 law schools in the UK. In terms of Bangor Law School, just to tell you a little bit about our school, it's almost 15 years old. It was founded in 2004. We have a very well-developed, sophisticated tutor-tutee system in which every member of staff is a tutor acting as a tutor to maybe 20 or 25 students. For undergrad studies, we have about 20 programs in total, and the principal degree that we offer is the LLB, that's the 3-year degree. But in addition, we have a 2-year conversion degree, so anyone who hasn't studied law before, who would like to study law and who has some compelling professional experience behind them, can do the 2-year conversion course. We have a law with accountancy and finance. We have law with social policy. Importantly, all our undergrad degrees are qualifying law degrees. What does that mean? In essence, a qualifying law degree is a degree that allows the holder to enter the legal professions, either solicitor or barrister, without sitting any entrance exam.
So guys, we've had a very interesting and also very scenic day here at Bangor University. We've talked about the facilities, the courses, the professors, and also we've talked to some students. But the last person I want you guys to meet today is an alumni from Bangor University. She's very beautiful and her name is Lev Vang An. Hello.
Hello, thank you very much.
Oh, well, you deserve all the compliments. Okay. And can you tell us a bit about what you did here at Bangor University?
So in 2011, I came here to study for my master, and then after that, I decided to carry on with my PhD in 2013, and I just completed my my PhD last year, and now I am working at the Durham Law School as a teaching fellow in intellectual property law.
Wow, so a very long history with Bangor and also now Durham. So you're very committed to Wales now. I'm very curious about how you chose Bangor from the very beginning.
So when I first started thinking about going abroad to study, I decided to come to UK, and I looked up on the internet and I found out that Bangor is a small, safe and affordable city to live. And at that time, the university offered me a great master course with scholarship and a lot of different subjects for me to choose from. So I thought, okay, so why not come to Wales then?
What about the community of Bangor made you choose to attend the school?
Okay, so I think you might have seen today the university is very, very international. We have students come from a lot of different countries, and it's a great experience for me to integrate into student life. And I remember back into my master years, just 1 year, and I formed a group with other 6 different students, and we were forced to speak English all the time. And even during, I remember during that year, in Christmas, we throw a party together for all international students in the building. So it's really, really great experience for me, and yeah.
So it's a very international yet small, tight, friendly community. Do you feel like that?
Yes, it is, because you see, people in Wales are very, very friendly and helpful, and the university is extremely supportive.
Right.
So, and whenever I have any issues, I also come to the international student office. They help me with my tax codes, my visa application, with anything.
It really comes to show what a great university Bangor is, and it's a really eye-opening experience for you.
Yeah, it's definitely worse, and still is. I still have a lot to learn.
Right.
Yeah.
So this has been a great talk for us, and also an eye-opening experience. More eye-opening experiences heading your way, because we're covering a lot more Wales universities the following week. So stay tuned, and we'll see you very, very soon. See you soon.
See you.
What an adorable duo they were. What a photogenic university that was as well. Now, is there any chance we get to have a different perspective, a different way of understanding about that school, other than just looking at a video?
Absolutely. We do have an ambassador who's right here in our audience, and she's going to speak to us a little bit about her own Bangor experience. Let's see who she is right now.
Hello, my name is Việt.
Hello there. So tell us, is the campus, is the university as photogenic in real life as what we just watched in that video?
Yes, definitely. My university is very beautiful and has many spectacular and stunning views. There are many modern facilities and equipments like library, the fitness and gym center, the dormitory, and so on. Yeah.
What was your journey to the school like? How did you find out about the school?
Yeah.
Did you have a scholarship? What was your journey towards getting that scholarship like?
I found out about it many times on the websites and on the Facebook and so on, and then I really love the Bangor University because my first impression, I decided to apply for it, and then I got a £5,000 scholarship to study there.
A lot of people tell us they are poor students in the UK.
Basically, how did you manage to finance your expensive life in Wales? Did you have any job opportunities there while you were studying?
Actually, I found many part-time jobs, and I experienced several part-time jobs here, like cleaner, waitress in several restaurants and bars, and even at university to cover my living costs here.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us, and we definitely wish you all the best. And we're very, very much hoping and looking forward to other ambassadors to come and talk about their own experiences studying in the UK as well. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
And that has basically wrapped up our journey today on IELTS FACE-OFF. Any parting message you'd like to leave with our audience?
Yeah, I think the topic, this week is basically connecting with our homeland, connecting with our roots. In Vietnamese, we always have this term called quê hương là chùm khế ngọt.
Yeah.
It's, our homeland is like the star fruit, and a lot of the times we don't really even know what the star fruit. Why is it the star fruit, right? And I think it's a very northern thing because in a northern traditional household in the countryside, there's always a star fruit in everybody's garden.
And that's basically it from us. Goodbye for now, and until next time.
Definitely join us, guys.